Hey man, so sorry we haven't had any homesteading videos up for a while. They've been working us pretty hard up at the plant, and it looks like that's going to be the case for a while. But we've got a series of videos coming up. It was Mariah's idea, and it's an excellent one. We're going to spend a week living under different conditions that would exist under living off grid. We did a little experiment week before last, and we learned some things. Today, one of the weeks we're going to do is we're going to heat the house for at least a week with wood that I cut without any, I don't want to say mechanical help, because an axe and a split maul is mechanical help, but without any gasoline, no chainsaws or anything like that. So today I'm dropping the trees so they can start drying. Normally I'd have the chainsaw out and drop it. I'm going to let them lay on the ground for, I don't know, it's mid-June right now. I'll probably start thinking about cutting them up sometime in October. We don't really have to have fires anytime before that, and probably late October at that. So we're not ready to do this week yet, but I do want the trees to start drying, so they'll be ready when the time comes. So that's what we're doing today. We're dropping these trees. We're gonna do some of these off-grid weeks, off-grid challenge weeks, and see how they go and see what we learn. Because at some point we've just got to pull the trigger. We just got to go off-grid. And these baby steps we keep taking, are possibly just delaying the inevitable giant lifestyle change we have to make. But they're going to be interesting videos. We're looking forward to it. I'm going to finish dropping this tree, and I might drop a few more and see how long it takes. My axe head is loose. I didn't hang this right. I've mentioned it in other videos before. I shaved too much off the sides, and so it wiggles. But we're going to drop this tree and maybe a few more and see what happens. I'd already started on that one a little bit, but not too much. It only takes a couple of minutes to drop these trees. These are about perfect for firewood size, especially doing this by hand, I think. I've never done it by hand before. Obviously, I've dropped them by hand before. This is sweet gum. I don't know how prevalent it is across the rest of the country. It is everywhere here. It grows incredibly fast. It's great firewood. It's heavy. It's hard to split, but it dries out really, really well. Actually, it can dry too light. So I love using it for firewood because it's not good for much else. We're going to do this one from the get-go, and we'll do a time lapse and let you see kind of how long it takes. Like I said, that one maybe 3 minutes. This one's a little bigger, and it's in a little bit of a worse terrain and whatnot, but I don't think it'll take too long. Stick with us. Alright, well, we had the dreaded hang-up. I knew it was possible. I hoped I was going to avoid it. I got this little cedar tree right here I didn't want to hit, so I was trying to go just to the left of the cedar tree and stay to the right of the big tree not to get it hung up, and I was just trying to be too fine, but we're going to knock it down. Obviously, you can't leave a tree hung up like this with kids running around, but there you go. There's the danger. Alright, here we go. Alright man, we had some technical difficulties in the middle of this. You may notice the different colored t-shirt. We ran out of storage space, so we had to upload some videos real quick. I promise I didn't chop it all while the video was off. You saw all the chopping that happened, albeit in fast speed. And then we filmed the close to this, but we left it in the fast speed, so I'm going, and of course there's no sound, so we're refilming a closing real quick. Just wanted to point out a few things. Some of you sharp-eyed guys are going to notice that the head was coming off of my axe there towards the end. I mentioned at the beginning here that it's loose and I need to rehang it. The other thing is, if you ever get a tree hung up, and I know most of you guys know this stuff already, but when a tree's hung up, the weight's in really weird places. So if you're going to get it down from the butt end down at the stump,
If you're going to finish cutting off that hinge and knock it off the stump and hope that pulls the whole tree down, you got to be real careful, because you have no idea which way that butt's going to come off of the stump. You can guess, you can have a sort of an educated idea what's going to happen, but you don't really know. So if you ever get a tree hung up and you're taking it down from the butt end, just be aware that it could come at you, and it could come at you fast, and it could do a lot of damage. You really, if there's any option, you want to try to take it down from the top, even if that means cutting down the tree it's hung up in. But that has its own dangers. Anyway, the point being, cutting trees and firewood and felling them is some of the most dangerous work there is. You guys know this. Just pointing it out. So, but there you go. It takes us about 3 to 4 minutes to get a tree on the ground. One of these 12-inch sweet gums. Which sweet gum's a tough wood, especially when it's green. Once it dries, it gets very light, and it's easier to work with. But when it's green, it's really tough. So I'm kind of pleased. You're going to laugh at me, but it almost doesn't take much longer to put a tree on the ground with an axe than it does with a chainsaw, once you factor in sharpening the saw and starting it and getting it ready and all that stuff. The actual amount of time, once you average out all the tasks, it doesn't take really any longer to put it on a tree with the axe than the saw. I'm sure the bigger the tree, the less that's true. But with these firewood size logs, it really doesn't take any longer. Good workout though. You'll get your exercise doing it. Hey man, we appreciate you. Thank you.